I want to take the first shot at this and start decoding what you saw there. First of all, his physician is a very good doctor and is standing by what he said there. The fact that these women that he had unprotected sex with were under doctor's care is code for he must have had very low or zero viral production, making his infectivity very low. These women probably were on something called pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is taking the same medication or similar medication to what Charlie himself would take that makes the probability of transmitting HIV, even if he had virus around, very low. And then, again, it was unprotected and carry. You want to put a condom on normally to really make it impossible. So I would argue about the impossible bit of this. But the fact is, this story makes sense. The story makes sense. Do you agree, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't great at choosing his words, but yes, he is what we call undetectable. And what you're speaking about is PreP, which is I am on PreP. I'm a almost 35-year-old gay man, and I have sex. So I thought the right thing to do is to go on PreP. So that if I...
Which is pre-exposure prophylaxis.
Yes.
PreP.
So if I have sex with somebody who does have the virus, it basically is what they're saying is really high rate cannot enter my cell.
95, 96% plus effectiveness at reducing risk of transmission. Now, you and I have not discussed this in those very seconds, so I didn't know that. So good. I know there's been a lot of weird controversy around PreP, not PreP, but that's another show.
A lot of slut shaming is what they say, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a shame.
But like you both just said, it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
He misspoke there, I would say.
But every time you have sex is risky sex. There is no such thing as safe sex. There's safer sex when you take certain precautions, but there is no such thing as safe sex.
And lots of our viewers had difficulty feeling sympathy for Charlie given his previous behavior. To me, it's like this is drug addiction. This is sex addiction. This is how this works. Did you know about this before it all came out?
Well, we knew a couple of days ahead of time, but the whole thing is it's not we're as an organization, we don't out people, but
sure.
I do think that with the Charlie situation, you said something today that kind of resonated with me when you said this has gone from a deadly disease, this was a death sentence, to now it's just a chronic disease like diabetes. So the good thing that comes out of this is that Charlie can live a life. Now, the most dangerous thing here is Charlie.
Well, let me play this. Wait a minute. Kevin is making the other headline. There's one headline which is about the HIV and how he chose to reduce risk, and that Charlie could be a spokesman. I mean, you spoke very eloquently just now. Maybe one day Charlie will be able to advocate. But the other...
So that he's a great actor. He's had 4 years to deal with this. I'm sure he's been trying to deal with this,
Scott's reacted to that.
Yeah,
positive. He's had 4 years to deal with it.
That's not enough. A lifetime is not enough to deal with this, to live with this disease. I say he could be an amazing spokesperson for this cause, because here is somebody against all odds who is sitting there this morning telling his truth. And he's facing a lot of judgment, a lot of hatred, a lot of stuff flying at him right now because of his past, his, exploitative stuff. At the end of the day, he is now another person living with HIV, and we have to treat him just like those people, which means we wrap them and treat them the same as everybody else.
Did he only come out because he was getting blackmailed?
Yes, because he's a celebrity, probably, yes, but there are people who don't come out as HIV positive because of the shame that is thrown on them every day.
But what is he facing legally?
Oh, he's facing a barrage of civil lawsuits and possibly some kind of criminal prosecution if, some of these statements aren't true. The issue in this case is going to be, did he disclose? Did he use protection?
Did he know?
Did he know? And when did he know? That's going to be a big issue because we've seen different things in the media. Did he disclose? Did he use protection? And did he have a specific intent to infect any of his partners? And we're going to hear lots.
That sounds like he's have to have murderous intent.
Well, that's what the statute for felonies are with respect to HIV in the state of California. There has to be a specific intent to infect.
Yes, legally, but what you're saying is actually why there is such a stigma against HIV, people living with HIV, because we say what they did in their past, their risky behavior, this and that, they intentionally, if he is taking his meds every day and he's undetectable, he's doing the best thing that an HIV positive person can do. If he is sharing with his partners, I am HIV positive, that is even a greater step forward.
I agree if it's true, but we have...
That's kind of how it happens, and that was in 2011, so he may not have known.
I just also want to say, sorry, because I know this wasn't your words, they were her. The word clean is actually really derogatory when you're talking about somebody living with HIV, so we have to be very careful when we describe that. He should have said, I'm healthy, I'm not...
I'm not known to have anything.
Exactly.